Good evening and welcome on in, hockey fans, to World Ice Arena in Flushing Meadows, Queens. And we've got a good one for you tonight as the Long Island Rinx come to town to take on the New York City Raiders in a Tier 3 Bantam A state-bound game. The Rinx come into this one with a 3-8 record in the division, but don't let those numbers fool you. Nearly every single game they've lost has been close entering the third period, and often all the way to the end of the game. The Rinx dropped 1-goal decisions to the Great Neck Bruins and Dix Hills Hawks last weekend and beat the Beaver Dam Hockey Club yesterday by a score of 7-1. The Raiders dropped a tough one yesterday at City Ice Pavilion to the Double-A Aviators by a score of 4-2. Last week, the Raiders won both of their games by a score of 6-5 over the Peconic Wildcats and the Bedford Bears. Both teams are looking to take all 2 division points here today. They've split their 2 previous meetings this season. And we've got another treat for you here today, folks. Happy to welcome back into the booth here at World Ice Arena, RB. Ralph, how you doing today?
I am well, Colin. Good to be here. Good to be here. And despite the rain outside, certainly didn't stop for a good crowd tonight to watch this game.
Yeah, that's right. Not too many good seats available anymore. If you didn't get here early, you missed out on that front row seat right on the glass. Looks like we're going to have Jason Bricker in net as we have 2 more minutes left in the warm-up here. What would you like to see from him today, Ralph?
The usual. I expect some hard work, some quick reaction times. He's definitely a goalie that can go from post to post. He does it well. He stops those second chance efforts. He's good with his rebound control. So I do expect that. I expect a good performance from him, but I do expect a tough game as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, hard to figure out these Rinx and Raiders sometimes. It's almost like they're 14 years old, both teams, and sometimes they have good games and sometimes they have bad ones. And we'll just see what we get here tonight. But in terms of their 2 previous meetings and splitting those, you have to figure it's going to be a pretty even game here.
Might be hot. We have some members of the FDNY around us too.
That's good. Hey, listen.
You never know.
Right. That's exactly right.
Right.
Just in case one of these players gets on fire.
Right.
All right. I'll stay away from the dad jokes as much as possible. I promise. Doesn't mean there won't be any, though.
No, right? Be prepared.
That's exactly right. Well, with 50 seconds left to go in warm-ups here, we do have time to visit with our first sponsor here on Midnight Sports this evening. Stick around. Today's game on Midnight Sports is brought to you by Disappointing Dinner Options. Hockey fans, after today's game, you'll be looking to have some dinner. What will you go with? Will it be something easy like microwavable pasta? Or a soup from a saucepan? Or maybe you'll think about ordering pizza for the second. Nope, strike that. 3rd time this week. How is it that you can live in the biggest city in the country and think to yourself, ugh, I am so sick of having the same stuff all the time? It's Disappointing Dinner Options. I wonder if that sushi place we don't even like is open. All right, just 6 seconds to go. Thank you, Disappointing Dinner Options.
Yeah, I hate those.
Seems to happen all the time to me. I don't know about you, Ralph.
More than usual.
Well, there goes the buzzer for warm-ups. As per usual, we'll get the players near the net to pick up pucks, but more importantly, go over strategy in this game. Raiders are in their home whites here today. Rinx show up in their dark jerseys, as is typical in LIAHL hockey on the road. And they did make the long drive in from the Rinx in Hauppauge today, this evening. Looks like the players will do that last-minute strategy. The Rinx have their sticks raised, ready to go. Nice cheer there around their net in the blue paint. Raiders goalies converse about last-second strategy in a literal sense here, as we are only seconds away from puck drop in period 1 here tonight.
Big shout out to everybody on the YouTube channel watching us live and commenting in the chat as well. Feel free to show your support for your team tonight. A big shout out to all the families from the Raiders and the Rinx as well. Thank you for watching.
Couldn't agree with you more, Ralph. You know, the phrase "we couldn't do it without you" gets overused. Of course, we could do this into the ether, but what fun would that be? So we're glad to have all those viewers out there watching in here tonight. On your radio dial, the Raiders will start period 1, going from right to left. And of course, the Rinx will do the opposite. Looks like we've got a Berliner, Koslewski, Samosi opening forward line for the Raiders. Gosler and Tanoff out there manning the blue line. It's Bricker in net. We get the goalies checked and the scorekeeper checked. We've got puck drop here. Rinx win that ensuing faceoff. Comes to center ice and Berliner's stick. He dumps that in deep. Koslewski turns to give chase. Samosi over there waiting for a pass in the slot. Rinx try and turn it the other way, and instead the puck comes up to Gosler. Gosler now jams that in deeper, and Berliner goes to work in the near corner. Rinx come around their own net on the back end. Try and work that farther. Instead, Koslewski finds the slot, and it hops over a Berliner stick. Now the Raiders dump that back in, but without possession, and Rinx are going to be able to skate this out of their zone. Rinx now into the neutral zone. They gain the line and dump it in deep. Bricker out of his net to try and stop the bouncing puck. He leaves it there for Gosler. Rinx all over Gosler. Gosler's able to kick it forward, not just out yet. Samosi's long stick there grabs the puck and he skates this out of the zone. He's got Koslewski as a headman. Samosi instead takes it himself. He shoots that just wide of the cage. Rinx will come around and try and pick it up in their own zone. Comes all the way to the near point to Hyder. He had a goal in the last game. That shot deflects off Koslewski. It's the side of the net, and the Rinx will take that right back out of their zone. Chopped out of the zone. Hyder turns to try and track down the puck. The Rinx will give chase here. Icing waved after it hit a Raiders stick, and now Steinfink on the ice for the first time here tonight on the forehand. He works that up to Samosi, hits his skates. Now the Rinx have their first shot in. Bricker makes the save. Swiped away first by Steinfink. Rinx take back over in the offensive zone. They cycle it in deep. Far corner comes all the way up to the high slot. Hops over a stick there. Now Koslewski tries to turn his man wide. Slapper comes in from the point. Save there by Jason Bricker in the glove with 13:33 left to go here in the first period.
A couple chances coming from the Rinx there, right along the circle. But Bricker was able to make a little blocker save there, and then another shot. He gloves it from the point. He was awesome.
Yeah, importantly there, getting a line change for some tired Raiders skaters as they had completed half a change. Ensuing faceoff, one over to the slot by Marchuka. Tries to work that up to Rinx come up the play. Now they're in the low slot, and it's swiped to the side to the far half wall by Marchuka and out of the zone. It's a 2-on-1 here if the Raiders hurry. Pizarro tracks it down the offensive zone. He's on the forehand. He's got Meyerowicz with him. Tries to dangle a man, rolls off his stick at the last second, but Marchuka in the slot, look out, goes just wide of the cage there, and Pizarro takes over again the offensive zone. He leaves it at the half wall. Raiders still circling the puck. Rinx get to it first, but it's not out of the zone yet. Now they'll go weak side, will the Rinx, and the puck comes up through center ice, out of the zone. Rinx take over at the offensive blue line. They're on the forehand, looking to get a shot in on Bricker. Instead, the pass hits a skate, and Pizarro picks it up and sends it all the way up to the near point. Not out just yet. Meyerowicz works over his man. Puck comes off a stick into the neutral zone. The Rinx will have to reset. They go weak side. Instead, Raiders get there first and jam it right back into the offensive zone without possession. Marchuka on the forecheck, forces a pass. Gosler then cuts out the threat in the neutral zone, tries to push it farther. Puck hops over his stick. Tanoff covers, sends it up to the blue line, not out. Rinx jam that in, comes off the side of the cage. Bricker aware, swipes that to the side, and Gosler again goes to work at the end boards on the backhand. Rinx come away momentarily. They try something into the slot. It hits one skate, then two, and goes all the way to the far corner, and then rink wide to the near half wall. Rinx try a pass right into the slot there. Yawning net as Bricker had to cut out the immediate threat. Doesn't find a stick. Pizarro breaks out the other way now, and he sends that into the slot. Same deal on the Rinx side. Hits a skate, and the Rinx live to fight another day on that. They come right back through the neutral zone. Puck hops over a stick, though, and the Raiders chop at it. Comes to Pizarro, who dumps that in deep so the Raiders can get a change. Rinx circle behind their own net with possession in a little bit of time. Petrosinelli sees the ice. He takes the puck off his man. Quick shot in, save there by the Rinx goaltender, and we'll get a stoppage at 11:46 left to go in the first.
Few chances coming here for both teams, Colin, even though no goal, but...
Yeah, Petrosinelli, like a rocket off the bench there, pours in the offensive zone, one-man forecheck.
Definitely.
Well, and he'll take this draw at the near dot in the offensive zone. He's got Vigliotti out there with him, as well as Steinfink, and a Raider to be named later when we can see that Raider come out from behind the stanchion here at World Ice Arena. It's Kalemba. Anyway, the Rinx pour into the offensive zone now after some heavy hitting in the neutral zone. Looks like Kalemba on the forecheck tries to force that puck out of the zone. The Rinx dump it in deep, and Steinfink on the backhand has two Rinx men around him. He pushes it up to the near point. The Rinx just dump that right back in. Still all Rinx now in the offensive zone as Hyder tries to turn his man. Rinx go around, slot pass comes in, swiped aside there by Bricker. Again, alert to that sneaky slot pass as the Rinx try and get something in on him. Instead, Vigliotti breaks the other way. Vigliotti finds Petrosinelli, a little bit too hot to handle, and Petrosinelli will just have to dump that into the offensive zone. Now Kalemba in on the forecheck. Forces a pass to the weak side. Rinx have some time. Puck hops over a stick. Long shot. Takes a carom just wide of the cage. And Petrosinelli now at the near half wall tries to work that up to Gosler. Puck hops over his stick, though, after a deflection. And Tanoff will turn back into his defensive end and try and work the puck farther into the neutral zone. He finds Kalemba. Kalemba has some ice. It's 1 against 3. So Kalemba just jams that puck into the offensive zone before he gets stood up at the blue line. Rinx now take over behind their own net. But they find the stick of Berliner, who now looks into the slot for Kalemba. It's cut out by a skate there. Berliner gets the puck back, sends it up to the far point. Jammed farther again by the Raiders in the offensive zone. Hits a skate, then one, and a leg pad. Nothing coming for the Raiders as the Rinx will get this out of their zone. They're through the neutral zone now in a 2-on-3. The Rinx are looking to get that into the slot again. It's another skate, and Berliner will take over now in his defensive zone. He headbands that up to Koshlewski. Handles that nicely on the backhand as Nate Koshlewski tries a bad angle shot. Just misses the cage. Tanoff fires in to keep the puck in the zone. He dumps that in deeper. Finds a Rinx stick, but then it's taken over again by Samosi, who works it right back up to Tanoff. Laser shot comes in. Deflected once. Oh, it just misses the net. How did that not go for Koshlewski? A nice save. Looks like the Rinx goaltender might have gotten a deflection on that. Gosler tries to hold the point. Has the puck sit just outside the blue line. Waits for his team to clear, and then works it back to Samosi at their own blue line to the Raiders. They flick that weak side right up through the center of the ice. Now comes to Berliner on the forehand. He finds Koshlewski again, who gets handcuffed by a pass and a Rinx stick, but Berliner takes over in the slot. He tries a backhand Ephus pitch up and over the Rinx goaltender's shoulder, but he misses the net entirely. Now Koshlewski works hard on the forecheck. Gets that puck back. He's got 2 men all over him. He turns and cycles that puck all the way around to the weak side, where Rafi Samosi tries to pick it up there at the half wall. Takes his man out of the play. Sam Berliner collects the puck, sends it up to Steinfink, who has to dance around one man, and then it comes to Samosi, who works that puck in deep again. Koshlewski fires in. Puck just eludes his grasp as the Rinx get to the puck first, and they're going to send that all the way out of the zone. Watch out here for the Raiders as the Rinx have speed. Mini break on. Shot comes high. Bricker with a nice shoulder and stick save there. Keeps the Rinx off the board. Puck comes all the way out of the zone to Koshlewski, and the Raiders making a change right where the play is. Rinx now with the puck. They try and work that forward once they gain the line. Instead it comes to Meyerowicz, who dangles one man but not the second, and now the puck comes to Hyder, who finds Meyerowicz, who sends that puck just a bit deeper into the zone, but he hits a Rinx man, and they'll have to reset. Will the Raiders? They do. They find Marchuka, and he gains the zone. He's 1-on-2, but he's on the forehand. Look out. Shot comes in. Hits the Rinx goaltender. Nice save there by the Rinx, and they'll look to get this puck out of the zone. Harassed, though, there by Bizarro. Keeps the puck in the far corner. Now some heavy hitting as Marchuka is cross-checked there from behind, and we'll get our first penalty. It'll be interference on the Rinx for 2 minutes after Bizarro, with the nice forecheck, keeps that puck in the zone, and Marchuka goes in for support and takes that hit from behind.
Both goalies definitely earning their paycheck today, Colin, for certain, but I think the most important thing is that both teams not afraid to throw their bodies around tonight. I mean, we're seeing lots of action, lots of hitting, but you love to see it in a hockey game.
Without a doubt. Not even 7 minutes into this game.
Right.
Already seen a few grade A chances.
Right.
Now an interference, a heavy interference penalty. Anyway, the Raiders to the power play in a scoreless game. That puck gets deflected up and over the cage as the Raiders are up a skater here. Tanoff out at the near point. Keeps the puck in the zone momentarily. The Rinx take over again. Now Berliner for support. He finds Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli looks up ice. He's in the high slot. Tries to get that wrist shot off. He does. And he was impeded just a little bit there by the Rinx player, so he couldn't get much mustard on it. Puck comes up to the far point. Marchuka dumps that in deep as he's got a man all over him. Bizarro goes to collect at the end boards. Instead, Berliner tries to find Petrosinelli in the slot. Rinx man gets in the way. Good defensive play by the Rinx there as Bizarro takes over again. Tries a tough angle shot there. Berliner for the rebound. Shut down again by the Rinx goaltender. Now the Rinx try and collect at the far corner. They work it only so far as the blue line. Tanoff, wrist shot comes in. Saved again by the Rinx goaltender. Wraparound shot from the dot comes to Bizarro. Saved again, and now the Rinx look to get this out. Instead it comes to Tanoff. Deflected by the Rinx defenseman right on goal. Rinx goaltender stands tall. Look out. Some heavy hitting in the near corner now as the Rinx try and get this puck out of the zone. Berliner looks to be without a stick. The Rinx are going to skate this out of the zone. Berliner's got his stick back. Into the neutral zone now come the Rinx to try and kill more of this penalty. Just 51 seconds left to go on the extra man advantage for the Raiders. Shot swept aside by Bricker, and now Marchuka takes up with speed in the neutral zone. Looks to curl this slide. He's on the forehand. Sends a shot in. Saved again by the Rinx goaltender there. And that Rinx goaltender getting some applause from the crowd for all the heavy work on this penalty kill. Puck sits in the offensive zone for the Raiders. Comes to Vigliotti. Sends one in. Rebound in and score. That's Dom Bizarro with the goal. The Raiders go up 1. Ralph, that
was something.
That was glorious. That shot came in off Vigliotti's stick, saved by the Rinx goaltender, and Pizarro there to pot the loose change.
Yeah, it all started when Marchuka was driving into the zone, having to get a shot, and then again, these second chance efforts happened. The goalie's been doing a pretty good job, but this one happened to just be right out. Juicy rebound in front of Pizarro. He slaps it right in. 1-0 Raiders.
You got it, RB. Expert rebound control there from the Rinx goaltender, but there's just not much you can do with a hard shot into the low leg pads. Now it's Jackson Klemba breaking in, trying to get a shot on goal. Vigliotti tries to help him out there as the puck sits in the near corner, and then it's worked rinked wide, and Steinfink takes over at the far point. Good keep by him. Klemba now fires again to the near corner. Puck comes there into the slot, cut out by the Rinx, and they look to skate this out of the zone. Nice quick pass by the Rinx. He's a 3-on-2 developing. Hyder and Steinfink back. They turn as the puck gets dumped. Steinfink goes behind his own net to pick up the puck. Rinx there first. They work that puck just to the far dot, but not on goal yet. Shot comes in. Saved by Bricker there as Klemba now takes over the puck. He's got Meyerowicz and Vigliotti out there with him. Klemba dumps that puck in, and the Raiders will give chase as the Rinx get to it first. Rinx work that all the way to the weak side again. Steinfink keeps the puck in. Puck comes to Klemba, who tries to work it to the slot. Vigliotti was calling for it there. Couldn't get it to him as it hit a skate. Gosler now keeps the zone. He sends that puck in deeper. Vigliotti on the forecheck, trying to keep the puck in the offensive zone. It comes to the end boards. Klemba, no look pass to the front of the net. Nobody home, and the Rinx will come out of the zone now. It's a 2-on-4 for the Rinx as they make a change behind the play. They just dumped that puck in deep. 5.5 minutes left to go here in the first. Raiders nursing a 1-goal lead as Vigliotti takes over the puck in the offensive zone. His stick is lifted, and the Rinx dump that back in. Steinfink now in for support, as well as Meyerowicz, trying to get that puck from the far half wall. It sits there between skates, and we do get a whistle. Looks like we'll get a face-off after that puck got caught between some skates, Ralph.
Yeah. We noticed in the Rinx having a little hard time kind of sustaining pressure in the offensive zone. Weren't able to get a lot of shots off in these concluding minutes of the first period, but let's see if they can turn it up here. Maybe when a face-off gets something done.
Yeah, they've got the Rinx got the legs churning, that's for sure. Trying to keep that puck in the offensive zone, just like right here. They're in the high slot. They work that wide. Good stick by Berliner to force his man outside. Now the puck comes to the end wall. Tanoff turns it and works it up to the far point, and it's stick lifted, and Samosi takes over. He's got a 2-on-1 developing with Kishlevsky. Works that over to Nate Kishlevsky. Gets handcuffed a little bit as the puck sits in his skates, and they can't get a shot on goal. Gosler does keep the zone, though. Wrist shot comes in. Kishlevsky looking for the deflection. Instead, it's sticked aside by the Rinx goaltender. Now the puck comes to the near point and out of the zone. Tanoff over to cover, and he's able to chop that play and thread out in the neutral zone. Kishlevsky tries to turn with the puck. Takes his man out of the play. Tanoff takes over at his own blue line, and now Samosi on the puck. Told to get the puck deep. He does just that. The Rinx will have to turn and pick it up at the end wall. Rinx now with the puck behind their net. One try and then two, and they get that puck up to the near point. Not out just yet. Gosler sends a slow one in, looking for a deflection. The Rinx will take over at their own end boards, work it up again to the near point. Gosler swipes at it, works it in deeper, finds a Rinx stick, and then a Raider stick. Berliner now tries to dangle his man. Can't go through him, though. And the Rinx pick it up in the near corner and send it weak side. Now they're in the far corner. Can't get past Tanoff, though, at the far half wall. Shot comes in. Saved nicely there by a Rinx goaltender with a lot of traffic in front. Gosler keeps the zone again. He dances around a man who takes him out of the play. And the Rinx fire that up. They've got a mini break here if they can track down the puck. They won't. We'll get an icing instead with 3:46 left to go here in the first period.
Big heads-up play by the Raiders defense here, especially Gosler standing by the blue line, trying to keep the puck in his zone. There was even a moment where the ref kind of interfered with him. Luckily, Tanoff was able to backtrack, kind of take his back and clear any danger, and they were able to go back into the zone. But good job on the defensive pairing.
Gotta trust your defensive partner to have your back.
Definitely.
When you're holding that blue line against the glass. Ensuing faceoff sees the Rinx break out of the zone, and they're into the neutral zone. A nice self-pass there. Rinx continue on into the zone. Steinfink turns, though, and he's able to swipe the puck away from his man and leave it for Marchuka at his own blue line. Now Marchuka with speed. He's got Pizarro down the right wing. Marchuka on the backhand. Stops. Gets on the forehand. Looks into the slot. He finds Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz goes up high. Nice shoulder save there by the Rinx goaltender. And now some heavy hitting in the near corner as the puck comes to Steinfink at the near point. He's taken out of the play, and the puck's taken out of the zone. Rinx working hard to get that puck farther. Forecheck by Pizarro takes the puck off his man, and the Rinx will have to reset at their own blue line. Now Pizarro skates get in the way. He tries one-man forechecking crew there to work the puck deeper. Now comes to Marchuka in the slot. He tries a backhanded pass to the far post. Nobody home. The Raiders will have to reset here right at the offensive blue line. Puck work deeper to Bizarro. Bizarro slow skates over there to survey his options and then works that puck up to the half wall, and Steinfink will keep again at the near point. Puck now goes rink wide. Hyder pours in to try and take the puck off his man. Instead, the long stick of the Rinx man is able to fire that out of the zone, and Steinfink over to cover for his defensive pair. He'll take the puck on the backhand all the way behind his net. He's got a man draped all over him. Self-reverse. Steinfink shakes his man, works it over to Hyder on the forehand. Hyder tries to get that puck up out of the zone. Instead, it comes to the slot. Bricker stands tall in the first shot. Oh, Hyder jammed up the stick of his man on the ensuing shot and was able to cut out any pass there, but looks like, oh my, a dirty goal there in the crease by the Rinx, and they score with 2:14 left to go here in the first period. The Rinx something out of nothing there at the end line.
Yeah, they were able to squeeze one in. It all started with a failed clearance. I believe one of the Raiders defensemen. We got a vuvuzela in the town. Feels like World Cup South Africa.
No, without a doubt.
Started from a bad clearance. Rinx were able to pick it up, put a little pressure. Bricker made a save, but they came around, snuck it right in on the near post under his leg. 1-1 game.
I know that we could get Vuvuzelas past customs after after not being able to hear those World Cup games for an entire month. Oh well, one broken out of Joburg, and here we are. Now it'll be Petrosinelli with the shot, but we're a skater without a helmet. So with 1:55 left in the first, we'll get a reset here and a face-off. And time to remind you, you're watching this game on Midnight Sports. If it's parents occasionally wandering into frame while their kids are playing hockey, it's Midnight Sports. Berliner tries to win on the backhand. He does. Over to the slot. Gosler with a quick shot. Hits a shin guard. Now the Raiders will have to reset again. Petrosinelli with a laser wrist shot there from the half wall, gloved safely by the Rinx goaltender again. And with 1:45 left to go in the first, the Raiders will have another offensive zone draw coming to the Rinx goaltender's left. Looks like the Raiders will elect to keep the same 5 skaters out there now. It's Vigliotti, Petrosinelli, Berliner, with Gosler and Tanoff as the defensive pairing. It'll be Berliner over the dot, trying to win on the backhand. He does again over to Gosler, who just has to dump that puck in deeper. Comes to Berliner, shoots, just misses the cage. Petrosinelli now goes to pick up the puck in the near corner. He works that up to Gosler. Gosler slapper, one-timer, hits a body in front, doesn't get all the way through. Vigliotti working over his man there was Vigliotti. And at the blue line, the Raiders keep momentarily. Berliner now passes to himself. He's got Vigliotti streaking in the slot. Vigliotti now tries to set it up on the forehand. Can't quite get the puck off of his stick before a Rinx man gets there. Rinx pump that up to the near point. Now Gosler, laser wrist shot, hits the goaltender right in the face. Nice save there. Pass comes into the slot. Can't connect for the Raiders, and the Rinx are going to be able to clear this. They're cheating a little bit where the Rinx out of the zone. They nearly had a breakaway there. Berliner cuts out the threat, pours right back into the offensive zone until he's taken out of the play, and the Rinx take over again in their own end. They work that up past the blue line. Vigliotti will recover the puck now. Sends that right back into the offensive zone and completes his change as Berliner comes in. He's got Petrosinelli in the slot. Gosler and Tanoff still behind him as Marchuka enters the ice now. Marchuka in for support. He takes that puck onto his forehand, finds Petrosinelli in the slot. Can't quite get the shot off in time before a Rinx stick gets in the way. And just 36 seconds left to go here in the first as Gosler works that up into the neutral zone. The Rinx try and reset at the red line. Petrosinelli rubs his man out of the play, and now Samosi will take over. He's got Tanoff out there with him. Instead, sends that puck on a bank pass up into the offensive zone. Rinx will take over there. Marchuka on the forecheck tries to work that puck over on his man. Instead, the Rinx come away with it. Now Samosi fires it over to Hyder. Hyder leaves that puck in, tries to get it deep. Finds Marchuka's stick. Marchuka on the puck now. Can't take the puck off the Rinx man. Samosi tries to take him out of the play. Instead, the Rinx break out. Hyder and Steinfink out there to cover, but we get the end of the period. So after one, it's Raiders 1, Rinx 1. Stick around for period number 2 coming up next. We'll put 15 more minutes on the board. We'll do it all over again. Tie game here at World Ice Arena in Flushing Meadows, Queens. Well, folks, we've got 15 more minutes on the board here for period 2. And the Raiders and the Rinx getting a little more instruction from the benches. Ralph, what'd you like in that first period? And what'd you like in that first period? And what would you like to see in the second?
Well, I think more of the same, Colin. I mean, it was an action-packed first period. There was some hits, a little physicality. There was lots of speed, lots of good shots. I mean, despite the 1-1, I mean, the goalies, like I said earlier, just doing a phenomenal job between the posts tonight. Both goalies for both teams. It's entertaining. More of the same.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that was end-to-end action, but it wasn't pond hockey. It was, it was structured.
No.
both teams playing very well, and as you said in our intro to the game, very evenly.
Yeah.
So 2 evenly matched teams here, despite the records.
Right. And here we go, second period. Looking forward to this.
Well, Coach Coffey sends Marchuka, Bizarro, and Meyerowicz over the boards as his forwards. Wingers break in just a little bit early there, and we'll get a quick redo on that face-off. Looks like it'll be Gossler and Tanoff as the defensive pair out there to start this second period. Now it's Marchuka again. Marchuka tries to win that puck over to Bizarro. Instead, the Rinx come away with it, though, and they dump that puck in deep. They'll go weak side with the Rinx. Far corner, try and pick up the puck there. It comes to Gossler. He swipes that over to Meyerowicz, who finds Bizarro on a nice diagonal pass. Now Bizarro with speed through the neutral zone. He's got Marchuka down the right wing. Stick lifted at the last second. Just misses the puck on the shot. And now the Rinx will clear the zone. Tanoff recovers the puck at the defensive blue line. Tanoff tries to work that up weak side. Beats one man with that pass, but not the second, as the Rinx come away within the neutral zone so far as Tanoff. Now the Rinx reset at their own blue line. Try and work that puck up, but they find Marchuka instead. Marchuka tries to go around his man, and he's taken out of the play with a heavy hit there. The Rinx try and break out the other way. Instead, Gossler will recover in his own defensive zone. See if he skates this around his net. He's on the forehand. He banks that off the end boards and leaves it for Tanoff. Tanoff collects with some speed. He comes weak side. This is both sticks, though, and the Rinx will try and recover in their own end. 14 minutes to go here in the second period, and what's been a very even game. Now the Raiders gain some purchase in the offensive zone until a nice poke check there by the Rinx will get the puck out of the zone and into the neutral zone. Gossler bodies his man off the puck. He recovers it there, leaves it for Marchuka. Marchuka breaks in. Watch out for this wrist shot. Again, taken out of the play there was Marchuka's stick, and Meyerowicz will have to recover in the near corner. He works that around to the end boards, and Marchuka gets his stick back as the Rinx take over in their own zone. Only so far as Bizarro. Bizarro now leaves that for Meyerowicz, who returns the pass to Bizarro. Can't connect there in the blue paint. The Rinx will survive that offensive threat. Now Berliner off the bench. Works that puck farther in the offensive zone. But the Rinx do eventually get that out as Gossler dumps it in with some pressure on him. He had to leave that back into the offensive zone. It'll trigger an offside with 13:16 left in the second period.
They definitely started right where they left off, Colin, in the second period. Bunch of hits, bunch of shots. I mean, we had a great chance just now between Bizarro and Meyerowicz connecting there. Just missed for that second goal, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see some more of that.
Yeah, you could have fooled me that there was an intermission, given all the action to start that second period. Now the Rinx come the other way. They've got a little bit of ice here as they break in the offensive zone on the back end. Rinx looking for a slot pass. Taken off a stick there, though, by Steinfink. Now Petrosinelli and Berliner for support. Puck comes to the blue paint. Sits there momentarily. Bricker tries to cover up. Puck still loose. Rinx trying everything they can to get a shot on goal, but steered wide by the pair of Steinfink and Heider. And Petrosinelli now tries to work that puck back to a defenseman. Finds a Rinx man instead, though, after some heavy hitting. Heider takes over. He works it weak side. Bigliotti now goes in to try and recover the puck. Takes his man out of the play. No arm raised. We play on here. Berliner picks up the puck at his own blue line. Berliner looking to the center of the ice. He's got it there. He leaves it for Petrosinelli. Works that puck in deep. Berliner now in on the forecheck with Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli fires in. He's got Bigliotti on the weak side. Puck comes all the way to Steinfink. Steinfink tries to work that in deeper. Hits a Rinx stick instead. Now Petrosinelli with a tight angle shot. Rebound comes all the way through the slot. The Raiders will have to go back into the neutral zone to collect. Gossler, self-pass. He's with speed now into the offensive zone. He goes around one man, gets in on the forehand, and it's sticked aside there by the Rinx goaltender. Very well done by him. And the Rinx will break out of their zone. Raiders hurry back to try and recover. The Rinx have speed. They're in. It's a mini break. They go in on Bricker. They miss the net, though, on the raised backhand. Bricker stands tall, very aggressive, out of the blue paint. paint, forced that early shot from the Rinx, and it just misses the net. Rinx will pick back up in their own zone. They go all the way over the weak side and try and cycle the puck. Bizarro all over his man. He's an animal on the forecheck here tonight. Gets the puck back on the forehand. He sends that into the slot, misses all sticks, goes through the blue paint, and that's Samosi who cleans up, tries to send that puck in all the way to the slot. Instead, the Rinx cut that out, and we're back to a break. Tanoff hustling with his man. The Rinx are in again. Oh, they score on that one. Well, the Raiders played with fire one too many times there, and the Rinx were able to pot it on a mini break with 11:24 left in the second.
That was the second breakaway in about a couple minutes for the Rinx there. They missed the first one, but they were able to convert in this one, and 2-1 game now.
Yeah, it's hard on the Raiders there, who had a lot of push, had tilted the ice. Some bad puck luck as that puck bounced out of the zone, found a Rinx stick, and the Rinx were able to capitalize on it.
Let's see how they respond here.
The Raiders pump that right back into the offensive zone. Hyder cuts out the zone exit, tries to work that past the blue line. Instead, the Rinx cut it out there and sent it all the way across. Icing waved as Steinfink adjudged to have slow skated that into his own zone, hoping for the icing. Smart play by him. Refs weren't buying it, though. Now the Rinx try and find some time in the offensive zone. They're at the near dot. They go up and over the shoulder. Boy, that was a laser shot. There's no stopping that as the Rinx pot again. And it's Rinx 3, Raiders 1 with 10:55 left to go in the second period.
And the momentum starting to turn here a little bit for the Rinx. They were able to cycle through in the zone, and great shot, top shelf, right above Ricker's right shoulder there. I mean, not much they can do. 3-1 game.
Raiders are going to feel hard done by for the last 90 seconds of play. So we're going to get a quick Raiders timeout as Coach Coffey tries to stem the momentum here from the Rinx. But, you know, it was largely all Raiders for the first few minutes of this second period. In the Rinx, you know, they've taken their chances.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. They had a little bit of sight of goal on that second breakaway. They potted, and then they curled right to the near dot. And they were able to plant just over the shoulder of Bricker.
And it didn't take much. Just a couple chips forward by the Rinx. They were able to get behind the Raiders defense and get a couple breakaways. You know, Bricker, great goalie, but there's only so much you can do when the pressure keeps coming and coming and coming. And then, you know, pucks are going to go in eventually, and they did now.
Well, and, you know, hockey fans don't want to hear it, but sometimes you just can't stop a good shot. It doesn't matter whether you're a good goalie, good defenseman, good forward. You know, sometimes those pucks are going to find the back of the net. And so really the question for the Raiders is not how you stop laser shots like that or a breakaway off a bad bounce, but instead how you respond to it. And there's plenty of this game left too. We've got 25 minutes and 55 seconds of game time left for the Raiders to try and tilt the ice the other way. Coach Coffey sends Berliner, Bizarro, Meyerowicz out there with Tanoff and Gossler as the defensive pair. It's Berliner now trying to win that puck forward. Instead, the Rinx come away with it. They're in the high slot and then work that all the way over to the near half wall. Tanoff gets there first, uses the boards to hit that up, and Bizarro kicks it farther to himself. Now it's Bizarro on the backhand, enters the offensive zone. Stop there, swings it into the slot, just a little bit too far for Berliner. Berliner now sends that off the side of the cage, takes a heavy hit to do so. Puck comes up to the near point. It's cut out by Bizarro. Bizarro turns. He's on the forehand, tries to leave that for Meyerowicz. Just crosses the end line. Now it's in the blue paint, but so close, Berliner can't lift it. The Rinx will pass that up and out of the zone. Tanoff collects at the red line. Leaves that all the way for Bizarro into the offensive zone. Puck hops over his stick, swiped farther by him though, and he leaves it in the zone, tries to push it farther. Too many Rinx in the way, and they'll come the other way through the neutral zone. Rinx now on the forehand, a 2-on-2 developing for them. Gossler steers his man outside, tries to pick up the puck at the end wall, and it comes all the way to the near half wall. Rinx will take over there momentarily, dump that puck in deeper. Comes to Bricker, who just swipes that aside for Marchuka. Now Marchuka with some speed through his own zone. He's in the high slot, he's across his blue line. Now he's across halfway. 200-foot play here by Marchuka. He goes up. Oh, and it looks like that was saved.
That was a save.
Interesting. We got a point by the referee toward the net, and the whistle blew, but it was saved there by the Rinx goaltender. Well,
I think he was pointing at Marchuka to see what a great run he had.
I think so. Yeah. Yes, the very rare referee point at a player to tell him congratulations. but your shot was saved.
Yeah.
Ensuing faceoff sees Vigliotti at the near half wall. He swings that on goal, saved nicely there on a quick snapshot by Vigliotti. The Rinx used the boards to get that out of the zone. Collected again by Steinfink, comes over to Hyder on the forehand. Hyder uses the boards to work that in the offensive zone. Now Petrosinelli leaves it for Marchuka. Marchuka hits the crossbar, inches away from cutting this to a one-goal game. Now Steinfink collects in the neutral zone. He finds Hyder, gets handcuffed a little bit by the puck, and the Rinx dump that in the offensive zone and look to collect at the end boards. Now the Rinx on the backhand, look for a no-look slot pass, hits a skate, doesn't find purchase just yet. Petrosinelli waits for the puck, tries to shepherd out of the zone. Instead, the Rinx get there first and look to dump it in deeper. Now it comes to Vigliotti, leaves it for Petrosinelli. It's a 3-on-2 for the Raiders coming the other way. Petrosinelli in the high slot, big wrist shot, deflected high and wide. So at 8:52 in the second period, we'll get another stoppage in play and an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders.
Marchuka was on that right side, he had a stick forward, he was calling for the pass, he probably would have had a breakaway, but Petro, come barreling forward, trying to take one of those hard shots that he likes to do, but it was deflected. Now we have a face-off now.
Yeah, hard to pass up a cannon of a wrist shot when you're Petrosinelli there in the high slot, and it was a screen shot at that. Rinx player did well, though, to get a stick on it and deflected high and wide. Ensuing face-off sees the Raiders have the puck in the offensive zone. Berliner works it down low to Samosi. Tries to work it in the slot. Sticked aside by the Rinx goaltender. He's having a wonderful game. The Rinx send that up to the blue line. Not out just yet, as the puck sits in the offensive zone for the Raiders, but they had to clear the zone. Koslewski now looks to pick up his stick at the near point. Rinx have possession, and they send it diagonally up and out of the zone. Strange Karam sees the Rinx break in the offensive zone. They try and send that in on goal. Instead, it's cut out there by Gosler. Never hits the side of the net. In any event, Rinx dump it in deeper. Tanoff tries to recover the puck on his forehand. Puck again caroms out to the center of the ice. Berliner there to shepherd it farther. Self-pass through the neutral zone. He sees a man coming. He finds Koslewski. Koslewski on the forehand. Sends a shot in. It leaks through the goaltender's pad, but it's saved. Wraparound try. Once, then twice by Koslewski. They're jamming the puck in the blue paint. Do we get a whistle yet? It looks to be in. No, it's waved off. The man in the orange stripe waves it off with 7:48 left to go here in the second period, and the Raiders players are apoplectic that whistle blew when the puck was across the line.
There must be some kind of invisible force field in that net. I'm not sure how the puck didn't go in, but it almost seems like the ghost of hockey pass, Colin. Another called off goal when we just were about to score, but scramble in front of the net, man. It's hard to see.
Wow, well, the Rinx goaltender playing Scrooge here doesn't need to learn any lessons from the ghost of hockey present or future, because the ghost of hockey past doing well to teach him how to save the puck. Well, Raiders thought they had broken through and cut this lead in half. Instead, it's still 3-1 here in the second period. All Rinx right now as they pour through the neutral zone, try and get that puck in deep. Gosler takes over in his own end. Finds Marchuka on the weak side. Marchuka's one-on-one with his man. He goes into the slot on the backhand. Look out. He can go high with that. He does. He goes over the leg pad of the Rinx goaltender. And at 7:27 left here in the second period, no doubter that one can't be waved off. It's Rinx 3, Raiders 2.
Man, I am not surprised on that one. Marchuka, again, calling for the pass, gets it. He sees some space in the middle, goes to it, rushes forward, and on the backhand, just gorgeous goal to beat the Rinx goaltender. Finally broke free.
Now Luke Marchuka just expertly lifting that puck on the backhand up and over the leg pad of the Rinx goaltender to cut the Rinx lead in half. It's Marchuka again pouring into the neutral zone on the ensuing faceoff. He tries to leave that for Meyerowicz, who dumps the puck farther, and it comes all the way over to Bizarro in the near corner. Again, another weird carom off some Zamboni doors. Sees the puck go to the end boards and now come up to Tanoff at the near point. Look out, Tanoff wants to shoot it. He does. Bizarro looking for a deflection. Rinx goaltender stick gets there first, and now Gosler pinches in. Meyerowicz back to cover for him, and Marchuka as well. Gosler keeps his own. Long shot comes in, glove down there by the Rinx goaltender. Bizarro wanted to tip that one. It was just a little bit too far to the outside, and we'll get a stoppage in play at 6:56 left in the second period.
Yeah, whatever the Raiders coach said must be working. Raiders seem to turn it up, trying to put a little more pressure on the Rinx here. But they still got to be careful not getting caught again on a breakaway behind them.
Well, Berliner wins the ensuing faceoff a little too well on the backhand. Puck comes all the way out of the zone. Hyder tracks it down, tries to pour it farther. Vigliotti finds it at the offensive blue line. He's on the forehand looking for someone far post. Nobody home, and looks like the Rinx will take over on the forehand. They work that puck up to the far point, not out out just yet. Berliner kicks it to himself. He's got Petrosinelli for support. The Rinx try and dump it in deeper. Instead, it finds Coach Coffey and the Raiders bench, and we'll get a stoppage in play here at 6:34 left to go in the second period. Well, Ralph, you said you wanted some pushback there by the Raiders after the third Rinx goal. I think it's safe to say you got it.
I think we got it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're trying. They're putting on the pressure. They're trying to create chances. Skating hard. See if they can keep it up.
Well, Berliner again with the face-off win, but the Rinx take over in the neutral zone at least momentarily. Puck hops up on Steinfink, and Heider will turn as the puck goes into his offensive zone. Heider now in the forehand works that around to Vigliotti, who tries to work that farther at the near half wall. He's jammed up there by his Rinx man, who's able to keep the puck in the zone momentarily, and then the Rinx take over again in the neutral zone. They'll have to reset. Puck goes wide there. Looks like we're going to get a penalty though on the delay. Rinx goaltender hadn't left the zone, but it's going to be a roughing call here on the Raiders for that hit at the near half wall in the defensive zone. So Vigliotti's going to go to the box here with 6:08 left to go in the second period. Vigliotti down for 2. Raiders down a goal and down a man. It'll be a defensive zone draw coming to Bricker's left.
I must say the refs are doing a good job letting some things go. I mean, despite all the physicality, Colin, this was the first penalty that we saw.
That's right, on the Raiders. That's exactly right. And it's evened up the penalties now, one for both teams. And, you know, not much in this game in terms of... Now the Rinx tries slapper. Up a man here. Now they work it into the point. Comes to a Rinx stick there. Goes over the cage. Oh my. That was a quick shot. And a good one by the Rinx. Just missed the frame. And so now it'll be Koslewski trying to get the puck out of the zone. He does. He's got Samosi as a fellow penalty killer out there with him. It's Tanoff and Gossler as the penalty killing defensive pair. Rinx will take over in their own end. 90 seconds left to go as the Raiders are down a man on that penalty. Still 5:35 left to go in the second period. Samosi takes his man out of the play. Koslewski tries to work the puck farther. Instead, the Rinx send a shot in on Bricker. Rejected there off the leg pads. Gossler jostling with his man. He's able to bounce that puck out of the zone, and the Rinx will have to reset again as they collect the puck in their own defensive end. Samosi, the lead man on this penalty killing diamond, is able to cut out that pass and keep the puck in the offensive zone and then work it in deeper and go for a change. Expert penalty killing there by Samosi. Now the Rinx will have to reset in their own end. They send it up to their blue line and farther into the neutral zone, but Marchuka there to cut out the threat at least momentarily. Tanoff now turns with his man as he gains the offensive zone due to the Rinx. Tanoff tries to work that puck up and past the blue line. Instead, the Rinx work it in deeper. Rinx now. They send a shot in on Bricker. Tight angle shot. He rejects right up to the near dot. Now it's Rinx again. Look for that slapper. Ooh, nice block there by Marchuka. He's able to guide that puck out of the zone. Marchuka looks for a call. Instead, the Rinx will take over in their own end. It was a heavy hit that Marchuka took, maybe a couple seconds late. The referee did not see it that way, and in his opinion is the only one that matters as the Rinx again pour through the neutral zone. Now the Rinx in all the way in tight on Bricker. Bricker shuts down the first attempt, and Marchuka swipes away the rebound before any damage can be done. Rinx all over the offensive end right now as they dump that puck to the end boards. Rinx still trying to get something into the slot. Marchuka cuts out the threat there, and he skates the puck out of the zone. He's got Meyerowicz with him. These penalty killers are tired as we go back to 5-on-5 hockey. 4:05 left in the second period. Pizarro on the ice now. He takes the puck and turns nicely in the far corner, then dumps the puck in deeper for Meyerowicz. Just misses his stick, so Marchuka picks up in the near corner, works it deeper for Meyerowicz now as the Rinx make their full change, get all of their skaters on the ice as well. And they do get that puck out of the zone. Heider now turns with the puck on the forehand. Tries to work that puck up to Meyerowicz, bounces over his stick. The Rinx take back over in the neutral zone and dump that puck in deep. Steinfink turns with his man. He's got Heider out there with him. Puck's in the far corner as the Rinx try and bring that near the net front. Puck now sits at the near point and it's dumped in deeper as they'll try and take over in the near corner. Puck goes all the way around, racked around the boards to the far point. Not out just yet for the Raiders. Rinx now try and work that puck in deeper. Heider in the far corner. Works the puck a little bit farther. Now the Rinx try and come in close to the net. They send one in on Bricker. Bricker stands tall there, makes a second save, and then covers up before the Rinx are able to get there. And now we have the melee in front of the net, as there might have been one extra swipe in the blue paint. The Raiders did not take kindly to that. And candidly, the Rinx didn't take kindly to the Raiders not taking kindly to it.
No. despite
Ralph,
the season, huh?
Doesn't look like the holiday season out there, does
Sure,
it?
it's the time for giving, and that includes giving checks.
Do you think maybe they were just exchanging gift ideas?
Maybe it's like some trying to work out a Secret Santa deal or something.
Yeah, that could be.
Could be.
I could see that.
Yeah. But big penalty kill by the Raiders, Colin. I mean, just when they're starting to get the momentum back, they ended up getting a penalty, but they didn't give up the goals. Keeps the game tight at 3-2. It's still a game.
Yeah,
Still a game.
3:09 left in the second. This one's got plenty of time left to go. And now we'll get some discussion as to what sort of hockey justice is meted out here, as it looks like both a Raider and a Rinx player go to the box. Orchuka in the Raiders box, and a long discussion at the Rinx bench with all the officials and the Rinx coaches as to exactly what would be called. But the players at the far face-off dot don't look any worse for the wear as they discuss again whose name they drew out of the Secret Santa hat. Berliner at the far dot tries to win that back. Petrosinelli comes away with it, and the puck hops over his stick. Vigliotti now on a mini break. Vigliotti's working on the forehand in the slot. He's in all alone. Oh, he goes right off the crossbar. It was that close to becoming a tie game, and Gosser will track back through the neutral zone to collect the puck in his own end. Gosser now uses the boards to work it over to Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries to work that up to the near point. Instead, recoils with the puck and goes weak side, finds Tanoff there. Tanoff uses the boards, tries to bank it up to Berliner. Berliner looks for Vigliotti on the diagonal pass. Berliner gains the line, tries to dump it in, hits a Rinx stick, and that puck comes up, but stays in the offensive zone. Looked like it might have hit a glove on the Raiders bench, but instead we play on. Gosser now in the neutral zone, has to wait for his team to clear. Vigliotti back on side as Berliner comes in and then feathers a little puck over to him. Hops off his stick though, comes right back to Berliner, dumps it in again. 2:20 left to go here in the second period as Vigliotti turns, looks for a slot pass. It hits a skate and deflects out of the zone. Tanoff goes to collect now. Tanoff works that up to Berliner, tries to work it farther, and the Rinx will have to turn and pick up the puck in their own end. Rinx now on the forehand. They work that weak side over to Gosser. Gosser sends a laser shot in. Just kicked aside first by the Rinx goaltender, who stands tall on the rebound and then covers up with 1:56 left to go here in the second period. Well, Ralph, you had to like how quickly the officials got in there in the blue paint after that stoppage in play. They did not want to see a replay of what happened in the Raiders blue paint.
No, definitely not. You know, it's a good game. It is physical, but you don't want to see things get out of hand and out of control. Really makes things kind of nasty, but I do appreciate the good attitude.
Pizarro now at the face-off dot. Tries to win that forward. Rinx come away with it, and they flick it up and out of the zone. Hyder now turns. Mini break here for the Rinx. They're on the forehand. They go up and off Bricker's face mask. He makes a nice save there to keep the body large and in front of the goal. Raiders escape one there as the Rinx take over at the far half wall. The Rinx try and send it in deeper. They do. They bank it around the boards. Now the puck comes into the blue paint. Nothing doing there, though, as the Rinx fans really looked for a goal to be potted there. Instead, it's Pizarro the other way. He's on the backhand at the near dot. Tries to round his man. Sends a pass into the slot. Puck's still loose. Rinx come away with it and fire it up to the near point. Comes to Hyder. And here we go. We're going to get a call here as there's been some shouting on the ice in the blue paint. Looks like both players may be going here. Like it was Koslewski and a Rinx player jostling. And both are trying to plead their cases to the referees here. And both look to be sent to the bench. And by bench, I mean the penalty box.
The penalty bench. That's right. Yeah.
They'll both go here.
Yeah, this is what you get when the game's tight, everything's on the line, the tempers flare a little bit, but I'm not sure. Again, another little scuffle going on in front of the net.
It's true. We'll stick with 5-on-5 hockey, though, as those are coincidental minors with 76 seconds left to go here in the second period. It's Pizarro again at the near dot. On the backhand, he sends that in on Cage. That soft one's just covered up immediately by the Rinx goaltender with 1:14 left to go. So 2 seconds gone. No harm, no foul for the Rinx. Pizarro again at the dot. Same 5 skaters out there for the Raiders. Pizarro wins that over to Steinfink. Steinfink tries to load up. He's taken off the puck by the Rinx, and they break the other way. Samosi back to help Hyder out. Pass comes over to the Rinx. Bricker shuts down that backhanded attempt. Boy, it looked like there was a little space at the near post, and Bricker closed it very, very quickly. Now Meyerowitz takes his man out of the play. Bizarro picks up the puck, tries to work it in the offensive end, comes over to Samosi. Samosi works that all the way to the end boards, tries to get it on the forehand and recycle it for Bizarro. Rinx get in the way. Puck comes up to Steinfink at the far point. 49 seconds left to go here in the second period. Puck comes down to Bizarro in the far corner. He dangles around one man, tries to send that into the slot. Nobody home there. Hyder picks up at the near point. He's on the forehand, sends that shot in, nearly deflected, and then sticked aside by the Rinx goaltender. The Rinx just lobbed that puck to relieve some pressure up and out of the zone, and Hyder skates back. He's got a man all over him as the puck comes into the blue paint. Rinx keep the offensive zone. 26 seconds left to go. They get a shot off on Bricker, who shrugs that off, and the Rinx take over at the end board. Still looking for that slot pass are the Rinx. They send it into the slot. Samosi there to cut that out. He's got Pizarro streaking up the left wing with him. Samosi guides the puck over to the weak side and tries to get it in deeper with just 12 seconds left to go. Rinx turn it right back the other way. 10 seconds left to go. The Rinx look to break into the offensive zone. Tanoff tries to send his man wide. His man comes in. He finds a man in the slot, and with just 2.4 seconds left, the Rinx score. It's Rinx 4, Raiders 2, nearly at the death of the second period here.
Definitely the tail of this period, Colin. I mean, another counterattack, just getting behind the Rinx, just getting behind the Raiders defense. In this case, he had a little bit of help. Gorgeous one-timer. Nothing Rick could do there.
Yeah, that was a pass just into the low slot, and it was just put home expertly by the Rinx. And again, it was some beautiful hockey, but if you're a Raiders fan at home, you might like to see some uglier hockey that doesn't result in a Rinx goal.
Right.
Now ensuing faceoff's going to be Marchuka, Vigliotti, Petrosinelli as the forwards, Tanoff and Gosser as the defensive pair. The puck's dropped, and that should do it for the second period. It does. And so the Raiders will head to their bench, down 2 goals, looking for a few answers here, having tilted the ice in the last 5 minutes of that second period, but coming away with nothing while the Rinx potted one with just 2.4 left to go. Stick around. 15 minutes left in this one. Puck drop for period 3, coming up next on Midnight Sports. Well, as we wait here for the third period to start, we do have time to visit with another one of our sponsors this evening. Today's game on Midnight Sports is made possible by pretending to listen to your spouse while you're texting. Hockey fans, we've all been there. You desperately need to be the first person in your group chat to send the latest meme or GIF, but there's just one problem. You've been mm-hmming your spouse for the last 3 minutes as he or she has been talking to you. You can't risk one more "just a second, dear," or "sure," without knowing exactly what's been said to you. For all you know, you've already agreed to a vacation with her distant cousins in Toledo, including her Aunt Barb, who just doesn't understand why you don't invest in her lemon farm in Manitoba. It's pretending to listen to your spouse while you're texting. There's only one person who knows how much trouble you're in, and it's not you. Well, puck drop period 3 coming up right here. Looks like Vigliotti, Marchuka, Petrosinelli, Tanoff and Gosler out there as the Raiders try and cut this 2-goal deficit down to 1 to start it. Gosler finds the puck in the neutral zone. Now he pours in the offensive zone, does Gosler. He's on the forehand. He sends one wide off the cage, and the Rinx try and chop that out of the zone. They go all the way to the weak side, do the Rinx, as the puck comes to the half wall, and Vigliotti tries to chop it farther into the zone. Instead, the Rinx again come away with it there, try and get it on the forehand. Cut out by Petrosinelli at first, but now the Rinx have a 2-on-1 developing as they gain the offensive zone. They work the puck into the slot. They go high on Bricker, who shrugs off that shot. No rebound coming on the bouncing puck, as neither player, Marchuka or the Rinx player, could corral it before it hit the end boards. Now the Rinx take over at the near half wall. They send that puck in deeper. Tanoff turns and fires to the far corner. He's on the forehand, sends a diagonal pass just wide of Marchuka. Rinx take over in the neutral zone as the Raiders had cleared the zone. Tanoff tries to take puck off his man. He does on the backhand. He's got Gosler out there with him for support. Tanoff goes around the net, reverses to Gosler. Gosler. He's got Bigliotti up the right wing with him. Gosler finds Marchuka streaking up through the zone. Puck does come off his stick, though, as the Raiders are making a change behind the plate. Now the Rinx are all the way in. They're in on Bricker. They go high over the shoulder, and the Rinx pop one with 13:54 left in the third period, and there go the Rinx Vuvuzelas.
Just a little misplay in the neutral zone. Rinx were able to catch the Raiders on the change. They just lost the puck and able to go the other way, and again, just put it right over Bricker, hanging him dry out there. Man.
Well, it's tough. It looked like the Ice Monster might have gobbled that puck in the neutral zone, and the Rinx were able to put that in. But it looks like the Rinx are making a goalie change here with 13:54 left to go in the third. They'll get a second goalie out there. Well, I shouldn't say second. The other goalie. I don't think they're going to play two goalies in this game at the same time, although that would be interesting.
That would be, yeah. I wonder how that would work out. But I'm curious to see what happens here, Colin. You know, putting in a goaltender sometimes could be risky.
That's true. It can backfire to have somebody come in cold. That said, it's a long drive from Hauppauge all the way to Flushing Meadows to not get to play at all. So you can understand it from both the players and team's perspective. In any event, the Raiders in the offensive zone work that puck to the end boards, but without possession, and the Rinx look to break out. They try that diagonal pass. It's cut out by Samosi, who looks for a teammate in the slot. Puck just comes off his stick, and he tries the wraparound. Shut down there by that Rinx goaltender who just entered the game. And we'll get a stoppage in play here with 13:18 left to go in the third period.
Well, off to a good start. Let's see if the Raiders can make some more connections here in their zone. They really got to open up the goalie, make some plays, and get some shots. It's been a whole lot of one-shot chances, but
it looks like they're going to need to score a couple dirty goals here on those rebounds.
Maybe.
To really get things flowing. Berliner wins the ensuing face-off to the high slot. Rinx get there first, and Steinfink gives chase of the puck in his own zone. He's on the backhand, is Steinfink at the far corner. He has to reverse. He does. He finds Koslewski at the near half wall, tries to send that farther. Not out of the zone just yet. Steinfink will turn in the far corner and try and work the puck out of the zone again. The Rinx take over at the far half wall, work it all the way to the end boards, and the Raiders will have to give chase as it comes to the near half wall. It's flicked in farther, nearly catches the referee on that, and Berliner takes over the puck, tries to chip it past his man. His man does well to gum up the play at least momentarily. Momentum carries that puck and several bodies forward all the way out of the zone, where Samosi takes over the puck. Samosi in the high slot, trying to work it in on the forehand. He does. He splits the two defenders, and a stick at the last second cuts out the threat. Gosler now, look out. Bouncing puck. There, sits there momentarily. Pizarro tries to jam that puck home. Rinx get to it first and send it harmlessly to the far corner. Now the puck comes out of the zone. Gosler works that puck over to Samosi. Samosi curls to get on the forehand. He gains the offensive zone, and now it's Gosler on the wrist shot again. Shot just kicked wide by the Rinx goaltender, and the Raiders will have to pick it up in the near corner. Rinx get to it first. They cycle the puck weak side all the way over to the far half wall. Rinx on the forehand. They take it harmlessly behind their own net and slap it, rack it all the way around the boards. It comes to Hyder at the near point, who's able to keep the zone. Rinx now try and feather a pass out of the zone. Hyder instead chops that puck deeper into the zone. He finds Pizarro. Pizarro on the backhand tries to curl into the slot, looking for a teammate. Gosler now fires in as Pizarro takes over protection at the far point. Pizarro keeps his own momentarily, but the Rinx momentum carries that puck up and out of the zone. Now it's Gosler on the puck. Gosler still on the puck at the blue line. On that wrist shot, look out. Shot goes just wide of the cage. And it'll be the Raiders with the puck leaving their offensive zone as the Rinx flick it on out. Marchuka takes over at his own blue line. Marchuka now with the puck. Loses the puck there at the offensive blue line. A nice poke check by the Rinx. Takes the puck off his stick, and the Raiders recover again in the neutral zone. And now at their own blue line. Marchuka threads that up to Pizarro. Pizarro one-on-one with his man in the slot. He goes around his man onto the backhand. Looks for the return pass to Marchuka. Cut out there by the Rinx. Another nice defensive play by then. And now they're with speed through the neutral zone. Tanoff over to cover. Tanoff works his man to the outside. Doesn't allow the pass into the slot. And now Tanoff on the forehand sends that puck up to the far corner. And he picks up his own pass off the Rinx man. And he finds Meyerowicz, who chops that puck out of the zone on the backhand. Rinx will take over again at the Raiders' blue line. Rinx still in the neutral zone as they look to reset. as the puck goes all the way in the offensive zone for the Rinx. Gosser now fires in. Works the puck over to Marchuka. Taking off the puck there as the Rinx take over again in the far corner, and now the end boards. Puck comes into the blue paint. It's potted immediately by the Rinx. Oh, it was like that play was in slow motion. You could see the Rinx man creeping into the low slot, and it's Vuvuzela time again. Rinx 6. Raiders 2, 10:27 left to go here in the third period.
This is really starting to open up now. Like you said, Colin, just cheeky little pass into the slot for a quick one-timer. Goes on the bricker. I wasn't even sure maybe if I saw that guy there, but...
Oh, yeah, that puck came from the end boards right to a Rinx stick, and it was turned around immediately. I'm not sure it sat still for a moment because it was one time into the back of the net.
Bang, bang, bang job.
The Raiders are going to really need to tilt the ice now as Hyder dumps that in the offensive zone. Bigliotti tries to recover it. Instead, the Rinx get the puck at the end boards and send it over to the weak side. Try and work the puck up out of the zone. Rinx now playing with fire in their hair as they try and get that puck up and out of the zone. Petrosinelli keeps the zone momentarily, dumps that in deeper, and the Rinx will have to recover at the end boards again. Rinx have the puck in the near corner. Puck worked over to the near half wall, and the Rinx are going to take that bouncing puck up and into the neutral zone. Rinx now cross center ice. Rinx in the offensive zone on the backhand, looking for a slot pass. Petrosinelli bodies his man out of the play. The Raiders will recover off a carom from the referee. Bigliotti with the puck on his forehand. He's got Berliner and Petrosinelli with him. Tries to work it over. Instead, it comes off a skate, and Bigliotti picks it up again. He's sent all the way over into the near corner. He takes his man out of the play as his man tried to take him out too. Instead, though, the Rinx turn it the other way, and they've got a 2-on-2 developing. They're on the forehand. Gosser blocks that shot. Doesn't reach the goal. Now he tries to take over the puck. Rinx, though, try and curl with it at the far dot. The puck comes up to the blue line. Delayed penalty coming on the Raiders as they touch up with 9:17 left to go here in the third period. Well, we'll see what the call is, but that arm raised was long. That arm was raised long enough by the referee for the Rinx goaltender to get off the ice, and it looks like it'll be Petrosinelli going to the box for a trip.
Really soft penalty there, but maybe I didn't see the stick get caught up in his skates, but a little soft, I'm going to say on that one, Colin. A little soft.
Well, RB, we'll have to get you some stripes for the next game.
Maybe.
And we'll put a little caption underneath. We'll send it over to you, and we'll say you're in Toronto.
There it is.
Ensuing shot comes in on Bricker. He's able to stop that with the leg pad. Good rebound control there, and glove it right after the shot. So 4 seconds off the penalty kill for the Raiders. 9:13 left to go in the game. 156 on the tripping penalty of Petrosinelli. The Raiders need some goals, and they need them in a hurry. Rinx worked that up to the blue line, up a man and up 4. Now into the near dot, left at the near point. Slap shot doesn't connect for the Rinx. Samosi comes the other way. He's flying up the left wing. He doesn't have support with him. He's going to have to take this himself. He works in on the Rinx goaltender. Rebound left there. Tried to be flicked on goal by Koslevsky, and it was another nice save by the Rinx goaltender. And now the Rinx look to reset in their own end. They send that puck up and out of the zone. Raiders have to clear the zone before Gosser can dump it right back in. Rinx end up taking over at their own blue line, and now they skate with speed through the neutral zone. They're on the backhand, all the way to the far dot. It's cut out there by Samosi. Samosi tries to work the puck farther. Instead, the Rinx come away with it. Slapper coming in, goes wide of the cage after a deflection. The Rinx will reset here at the near half wall. Work down to the near corner, right back up to the near point now. Slapper comes in, hits 2 men in front, doesn't reach the goal mouth, and the Rinx again will have to reset. They dump it on back in, do the Rinx, all the way to the end boards. That slot pass doesn't connect there, and Samosi will take the puck and try and flick it farther as some of the penalty killers for the Raiders go for a change. The Rinx, though, pour right back in. They leave that puck in the high slot. It comes to Gosser first, tries to work it farther. The Rinx able to dump that in with 46 seconds left to go on the power play for the Rinx. The Raiders try again to get this out of the zone. Just under 8 minutes left to go in this game as Pizarro now out there as a penalty killer. He's able to diagonally pass that to himself, up off the boards out of the zone, but the Rinx will take over again at their own blue line. Now the Rinx with speed, trying to come back into the offensive zone. They do. They dance around 1 man, then 2. The Rinx on the forehand. Shot hits a man and then goes up off the crossbar into the roof. Boy, that shot had some momentum on him. So 21 seconds left to go here on the kill for the Raiders. 7:38 left to go in the game.
Yeah, nice shot from the Rinx forward over there. Just hits the post and gets out of the net, but man, they're aiming for the top of Bricker's shoulders today, and boy, I don't blame them. They got a few that way.
Now it'll be Pizarro at the ensuing faceoff at the far dot. He wins that over to Steinfink. Steinfink guides that puck to the end boards, and now Meyerowicz reverses back to the end boards so Steinfink can pick it up. Steinfink on the forehand, looking weak side, instead decides to use the boards to bank that up and out of the zone where Pizarro takes over momentarily until the Rinx send that weak side back into the offensive zone. Hyder now hurrying to get the puck. Rinx take over possession, but they're turned out of the zone. Rinx now back in the neutral zone, look to break back in. They do. They cross the blue line on the forehand, go around one man. Bricker shuts down that last second shot there by the Rinx, and Marchuka guides that puck into the neutral zone. If the Raiders come back in this one, remember that save. Something out of nothing there for the Rinx, nearly. Marchuka turns the other way with the puck. He gains the offensive zone. He's taken out of the play. Is there going to be a call coming? No call coming after that. And there are about 100 fans in the stands who were ready to call a tripping penalty on that one, but there are 3 men on the ice unwilling to do so. So Hyder works it back up for Marchuka. Marchuka works that over to Pizarro. Pizarro tries to get into the slot. He does. He's taken out of the play there, and we will get a call now as Pizarro taken out of the play. Looks like it'll be a hold, as there's some discussion in the blue paint between the players as to whether or a penalty. In any event, though, it'll be a Rinx man going to the box with 6:35 left to go, and it gives us time to visit with our last sponsor this evening. Today's Game on Midnight Sports is sponsored by Knowing When a Kid is Too Old to Get Toys at the Holidays. Hockey fans, it's that time of year again. You're searching for Christmas and Hanukkah presents for family members, but somewhere in the back of your mind you're thinking, wait, aren't these kids too old for toy trains or video games? Be everyone's favorite Grinch and make sure to buy your family members more practical items like clothes. Maybe settle for the always fun gift of socks. It's knowing when a kid is too old to get toys at the holidays. It's impossible. Now ensuing faceoff just comes right in on the Rinx goaltender, and it's frozen there as the penalty's put on the board for the Rinx. It's going to be some 5-on-4 hockey here for the Raiders, and they desperately need to pot this one on the power play. Berliner wins that backhand to Pizarro. Pizarro curls with the puck. He's at the far dot, trying to get on the forehand. He tries to find Petrosinelli across ice, but he hits the backhand there, and the Rinx are going to break this out of the zone. Now the Rinx have a one-on-one with Marchuka. They're in on the forehand. Try to dangle around him into the slot. Backhander, no-look backhander, hits Marchuka's shin pad, doesn't get on goal. It's feathered up by Berliner, but not out. Rinx now try and send a slot pass in. The Raiders need to cheat on this power play to get a goal, and so they only have 4 back right now. Now Pizarro enters the defensive zone at the top of the slot. Rinx just happy to kill time on this penalty kill as the puck hits the end boards. Looks like Petrosinelli will take over in the defensive zone. He's got the puck on his backhand, and Berliner streaking up the right wing. Petrosinelli cuts to the slot, tries to get the puck onto his forehand, and the puck rolls to the end boards. Tries a last-ditch pass there, hits the back of the cage. Now Pizarro with the puck on the forehand. Hits the goaltender's shoulder, it looks like, and goes up and out of play, and we'll get another stoppage with 5:40 left to go. 1:06 left to go on the power play for the Raiders.
Raiders trying to make something out of nothing here, Colin, but they were able to get Pizarro was able to get a shot off, but not quite able to convert yet.
That was a good look there for the Raiders, but those windows closed quickly, and it was just a good shot, better save. And a story of the night right now. Well, we'll get a quick whistle there, as it looks like the Raiders may have had an extra skater on the ice, because we have an empty net right now for the Raiders. Interesting. 5:38 left to go. Raiders have 6 skaters out there. It's perfectly legal. They're going to look to try and steal one on this power play with the extra skater and no goalie. The analytics would agree with this move. Puck comes over to Samosi. He winds that back to the far point in Marchuka. Marchuka works it over weak side to Pizarro. Pizarro corrals the puck and then works it in deeper. Cycles it all the way around. Samosi fires in. He looks for Meyerowicz at the near dot. Instead, throws that puck all the way weak side to Pizarro. Pizarro can't quite pull the trigger. Now the puck comes through the blue paint. Nothing doing for the Raiders just yet as Meyerowicz picks up the puck. Vasilevsky working hard in that blue paint. Pizarro gets the puck. He sends that puck in. Rebound not coming yet. And now we get a call. No goal there. Marchuka shot's not going to count as the whistle came before that. And it looks like we're going to get a call. Unclear on who. We'll get a call here, as it's the new skaters out there. We're going to have a face-off coming outside the zone. My best guess is the Raiders must have dislodged the net there, And so the face-off is going to come outside the zone. Bricker goes back on the ice. We're back to 5 skaters out there as the Raiders work out their lines right now. All right, enough Raiders are off the ice. 5 skaters out there. It's Koslewski, Meyerowicz, Samosi, Steinfink, and Gosler. Meyerowicz wins that faceoff, comes back to Steinfink, who turns to collect at his own blue line. On the backhand, he goes point to Gosler. Gosler looks weak side. Brilliant pass, finds Meyerowicz entering the zone. Meyerowicz, 2 Rinx men take him out, and Samosi goes to recover the puck and work that back into the slot. Nothing doing there, though. We're going to get another penalty call. Looks like it's going to be on more than one player here, as there is some jostling there away from the puck.
A little frustration here, Colin.
And it looks like both Rinx player and Meyerowicz will go to the box here with 4:50 left in the 3rd period. This game's gone from competitive to chippy in a hurry, as the Rinx still have that 4-goal lead, but we'll have calls on both teams here. Again, to be coincidental minors here, as the referee explains to the Rinx bench. It was a cross-check, followed by, I assume, what's being called a rough. No gesture to the scorekeeper there. It's going to be a center ice face-off, and it's still going to be 5-on-4 hockey, at least momentarily. All right, Meyerowicz gets a double minor for that. So he's in the box for 4 minutes, and a Rinx player is in the box for 2. So for the next 2 minutes, they essentially offset. Then the Rinx will have a power play thereafter.
A couple people going on a naughty list for this one, Colin.
No kidding. Don't tell Santa, but you're also going to need an abacus to time out all these penalties. 16 minutes on the power play here, or 16 seconds, excuse me, on the power play for the Raiders. Then it'll be 5-on-5 hockey. And then, after 2 more minutes, it'll go down to 5-on-4 hockey. We'll see what happens here, as it's just 4-on-4 hockey right now. Kind of interesting how this is threaded out. Well, perhaps the scoreboard's not our truest guide just yet as to which players ought to be on the ice. In any event, puck comes through the neutral zone. The Rinx take over there as the clock continues to tick. 4:19 left to go in this game. The clock is the Rinx best friend right now. This puck comes out to Steinfink in the neutral zone. Steinfink crosses the blue line, but the Raiders hadn't gotten back onside just yet. And so we'll get a stoppage in play with 4:11 left to go right now. Well, Ralph, I don't know if you can count them. I see 4 Raiders skaters out there and 5 Rinx skaters out there, so that tells me the Rinx must be on the power play.
I think so, Colin. I mean, no, there's 4 there now. 4
now it's 4 Rinx players.
Yeah.
All right, so finally we're to where we need to be.
Right.
It's 4-on-4 hockey for the next minute and 19, and then the Rinx will have a power play. Now the Rinx break back in the offensive zone. They send a shot high over Bricker's shoulder, over the cage, and they'll try and collect there at the far point. Heavy hitting there at the blue line again. Players jostling, no call coming. The Rinx will have to turn through the neutral zone into their defensive zone to pick up the puck. 3:51 left to go in this game. Rinx at the end boards now. Send that puck up to their own blue line, and now out of the zone. Harassed there by 2 Raiders players is the Rinx man as he gains the offensive zone, but without possession. Rinx will have to hold up momentarily before entering the zone, and the puck, its momentum, just carried it across the blue line. So we'll get another stoppage in play with 3:37 left to go in this one.
Seems a little difficult for both teams to kind of get into a flow now after all those penalties, and who knows if it's 4, who knows if it's 5 on the ice. But
yeah, Ralph, I got to say, I think we jinxed it by saying how few whistles there were in the first period. I think we've gotten our average to where it needs to be, but at the cost of any flow in the 3rd period. Rinx now turn the puck the other way, and they gain the offensive zone in this 4-on-4 hockey for another 35 seconds. They're at the end boards, and they find the stick of Marchuka, who turns the other way with the puck. He's got a 2-on-2 developing with Pizarro. Pizarro down the left wing, as Marchuka goes down the right wing. Marchuka on the forehand. Pizarro gains the slot. Marchuka curls around the net and looks for Tanoff at the point. Tanoff tries to swipe at it. Instead, the Rinx get to the puck first, and they're going to get this out of the zone. 14 seconds left to go in 4-on-4 hockey until the Rinx go up a man. 3 minutes even left to go in this game. Rinx now try and work that puck to the net front. Instead, it's cut out by Marchuka and Hyder. They're working over their man in the corner. Rinx curl around into the slot, but the stick of Tanoff cuts out the threat. Now it's 5-on-4 hockey in favor of the Rinx. Marchuka gains the zone, and he's taken out of the play there. Loses the puck as he's upended, and the Rinx will send that weak side into the near corner. Rinx try and work that puck up and out of the zone. They try once and then twice, and the puck does hop over the blue line to Gosler's stick. Gosler now tries to collect the puck, but it's played with a high stick by Tanoff, and we'll get just a stoppage in play and a face-off coming back on the other side in the Raiders' defensive zone. 1:37 left to go in the power play for the Rinx. 2:27 left to go in this game. And if the Raiders are going to score, it's going to need to be on the kill here to have a shot at staying in this game. Ensuing face-off is Koshlewski. Wins that over to the slot. Shot comes in, though, from the Rinx. And Koshlewski will pick up the rebound as that shot didn't reach the goal mouth and work it out of the zone. Samosi kicks it to himself. Now Koshlewski at the blue line. Waits for the Raiders to clear, and the puck rolls over to Tanoff, who picks up the puck at the blue line and on the wrister. Sends that just wide of the cage. 2:09 left to go in this game now. Still 1:19 to go on the power play for the Rinx. Puck comes into the slot. Quick shot by Koshlewski. Shut down there by the Rinx goaltender. Now the Rinx look to come the other way, out of their zone. Weak side pass finds Tanoff's stick instead. He uses the boards and dumps that right back into the offensive zone so as not to ice it. Koshlewski now powers in on the puck. Rinx work that up to their own blue line. Not out just yet as Samosi keeps the zone. Koshlewski sweeps that puck farther. Tanoff sweeps it farther to Koshlewski in on the forecheck. Now the Rinx take over at the far half wall. Send a diagonal pass up and out of the zone. Finds Gosler's stick. Takes a couple swipes at it. But the Rinx come away with it through the neutral zone. They're in the offensive zone now, are the Rinx. Puck rolls over to Tanoff. Tries to swipe that up and out of the zone. 1:26 left to go in this game. Still 35 seconds left to go on the kill for the Raiders. And time is ticking on them in this one. Puck comes up to the near point and then right back down to the near corner, as the Rinx are just happy to kill off the rest of this game with 70 seconds left. Shot comes in. Nice save there by Bricker. Reaction save as the puck came from the end boards into the low slot. Now it's just racked around to the end boards again by the Rinx, and they try and pop it out front. Instead, they hit the back of the cage, and now the puck comes in the slot. Shot comes in. Another nice save by Bricker. Under a minute to go in this one. Just 2 seconds left to go on the power play for the Rinx. They work that over to the high slot. Rolling puck, though, comes out of the zone. Back to 5-on-5 hockey here. Looks like, though, we're going to get an offside whistle with 43.6 seconds left in this one in the third period.
See if the Raiders here, maybe they can get a little consolation prize and get a third goal. But I think the results here will be pretty clear tonight. Who's the winner, who's the victor, and who's the loser tonight, Colin.
Ensuing face-off, looks like it's going to be Meyerowicz, Petrosinelli, Vigliotti. One forward by the Rinx. Steinfink turns, got his defensive partner Hyder out there, tries to work it over to him, and Vigliotti pours in for support. Rinx work that over to the far point. It's there, they slap it in. Bricker sticks that aside. Just a half a minute left to go as the Rinx try and work it up to the near point. They do, but then Vigliotti's there to guide that out of the zone. He's through the neutral zone is Vigliotti. He gains the blue line. He's on the forehand, tries to send something in on goal. Ooh, tight angle shot, hits the side of the netting, and the Rinx will take over there at the end boards. Petrosinelli pushes his man down, and now there's some jostling with just 10 seconds left to go, and all the players come together, and we get some whistles with 6.8 seconds left in this one. The players disagreeing as to just what happened at the end boards. Well, we're going to get more whistles here as these players still not enjoying it. Now all bedlam's breaking out. These referees need to get between all these players. Too many players out there, not enough referees. Those players being sent off the ice.
6 seconds left. Tempers are flying. I get it. They're frustrated. This was a tough period for the Raiders, and they're kind of taking it out now on the Rinx, but that's not what you want to see at the end of the game.
Yeah, a lot of jawing between the players there at the end of this one. But as you said, emotions running high. And so with 6.8, we'll work out all the paperwork here and remind you, you're watching this game on Midnight Sports, a broadcast that only gets better once you find the mute button. Midnight Sports! Now 6-2 as they're going to run the clock, and the Rinx fans like to see that, and truly probably better for the Raiders too, so that nobody does anything that gets them suspended for any games on both sides of this one. Well, we've gone final here at World Ice. It's Raiders 2, Rinx 6 in a hard-fought contest. And our thanks to RB for joining us here on this broadcast. We hope you can do it again soon.
Oh, I had a great time, Colin. Certainly, as soon as I can, I'll be back. And big shout out to all of our live viewers, everybody in the chat. We certainly appreciate you coming out and joining us tonight.
Well, to those viewers, we'll see you next weekend as we go out to Long Island twice for NYC Raiders hockey. But until then, stay safe.